Okay, calling to order the regular planning commission meeting for Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. Roll call.
Chair Tidy Zamora,
Here.
Vice Chair Michael Sid Alterman,
Here.
Commissioner John Dinan,
Here.
Commissioner Joan Stewart,
Here.
and Commissioner Natasha Basso.
Here.
And in the audience, we have our alternate Armando Rodriguez.
Excellent. Any planning commissioner, member, or staff who has a direct conflict of interest on any scheduled agenda item to be considered to declare the conflict at this time. Seeing none, we'll move on to public comments. At this time, members of the public may comment on any item not appearing on the agenda and within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Planning Commission Board. Individual comments will be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes, and what time cannot be yielded to another person. Under state law, matters presented during the public comment cannot be discussed or acted upon. For record purposes, state your name and city of residence. Please make your comments directly to the Planning Commission members. So we open public comments for anything not appearing on the agenda. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. We'll close the public comment period. The consent calendar, all items listed on the consent calendar are to be acted upon by a single action of the Planning Commission Board unless requested by an individual Planning Commission member or member of the public for special consideration. Otherwise, the recommendation of staff will be accepted and acted upon by motion of the Planning Commission Board. The items on the consent calendar are item 2.1, posting of the agenda. The agenda for the May 20th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting was posted on the City Community Center Bulletin Board, City Hall North and South Bulletin Boards, Post Office City website, and email to the library on May 15th, 2025. Item 2.2, approval of the May 2025 agenda. This provides an opportunity for the Planning Commission or staff to recommend that an item be placed on the agenda for discussion or to adjust the proposed agenda to allow an item to be taken out of order. Item 2.3, approval of the April 15th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting minutes, having been read by the individual commissioners and stands approved as submitted. So do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Move for approval.
Can we get a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Chair Zamora,
Yes.
Vice Chair Alterman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dinan,
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart,
Yes.
and Commissioner Basso.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to the Planning Commission public hearings. We have 2 today. We'll start with item 3.1, the architecture and site plan review 10-2024, the Sierra Triplex at 2924 Sierra Street.
Good evening, Chair Zamora, members of the Planning Commission, Joshua Mann, Community Development Director. I'll be handling the presentations tonight. As you mentioned, this is architecture and site plan review 10-2024 for the Sierra Triplex Apartments. Just a little bit of background on the site itself. The site is currently vacant. It's a little over 10,710 square feet in size. It's located at 2924 Sierra Street. Currently has a general plan designation of high density residential. And specific to this site, it's within the downtown specific plan area and it's designated as mixed use. In summary, the applicant, Mr. Sammy Altre, is requesting Planning Commission approval for the architectural site plan and review to allow the development of the triplex multifamily residential unit. Here's an air photo. It shows you the site. As I mentioned, it's currently vacant. You'll notice just to the right of your screen is the Riverbank, the old cannery, and then Railroad Avenue, which kind of leads into Patterson. You also have Palmer on your left hand of your screen. In terms of the proposed site plan, this is the layout. It's, as you can see, 3 units kind of identified by the 3 indentations, which would be kind of the entrances of the apartments. Also notice the parking is in the rear. This property also can utilize alley access, which it will use. In addition, it doesn't show up very well. I think it shows up on my next slide a little better. The landscape plan, there is some public open space towards the front of the property along Sierra Street. Here's that landscape plan. You'll see the applicant's proposing kind of a table barbecue area. The remainder of the landscaping would be like perimeter landscaping along the property line and in the rear property line adjacent to the alley. On the proposed architecture, it would be a two-story triplex. I'll get into some of the other details here. So the colors, the main color, the body of the building, I'll call it, would be a stucco Swiss coffee color. There is some stonework along the perimeter, bottom of the building. And I think it's proposing composition shingles, barnwood algae color. The proposed floor plan is identical for each of the three units. As I mentioned, it's two floors. So the first floor is approximately 636 square feet. Second floor would be 644 square feet. First floor is comprised of the living area, the entry area, the dining room, the kitchen, laundry facilities, and then obviously a staircase to the second floor. And as you get into the second floor, you'll notice that it is a 3-bedroom unit. Also, it's a 3-bath unit. Total square foot is a little bit over 1,200 square feet. In terms of approval of the project, we looked at, is this project consistent with our general plan? So one of the policies that stuck out to us was Policy Land 2.4, which states the city will encourage reuse of vacant or underutilized land in the infill opportunity area through policies that seek to encourage more intense infill development. Staff's evaluation of this found that the proposed project includes the construction of the new multifamily building on an unimproved vacant parcel. As such, not only will the proposed project add value to the existing neighborhood, we'll also add 3 additional residential units to the city's housing stock. This project, as all, are required to provide public notice. And this was provided in the Riverbank News on Wednesday, May 7th, or I should say published in the Riverbank News on Wednesday, May 7th. And public notices were mailed to property owners within 300 feet of the project site on Wednesday, May 5th. In addition, on the right-hand side, you'll notice a picture of the sign that was posted by the applicant at the property. That was done prior to the 10 days that it was required to do. And then lastly, in looking at this project, staff is proposing that it's CEQA exempt. It falls under CEQA guidelines section 15332, which discusses infill development projects such as this. Staff recommends the Planning Commission adopt resolution 2025-004, which would approve architecture and site plan review 10-2024 to allow the development of a multifamily residential triplex based on the findings outlined in the staff report. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
I got one, Josh. The layout on the second floor, was there any sort of like a balcony or exterior exposures? Just the standard windows? Okay.
No, it's pretty straightforward. Any other public comments? Do we want to read the public comment that was submitted?
Yeah, I was going to mention that we did receive one public comment letter, copy of which was provided to each of the commissioners before the meeting. Other than that, we've received no other public comment.
Okay. Very good. Can we get a motion to approve? Oh, we open public comments? None? We'll close public comment. Okay, then we'll close public comments. Can we get a motion to approve the architectural site plan review?
I'll make a motion to approve the architecture and site plan review 10-2024. I'll second.
Okay, roll call.
Chair Zamora,
Yes.
Vice Chair Alterman,
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart,
Yes.
Commissioner Basso,
Yes.
and Commissioner Dynan.
Yes.
That's approved 5-0.
Excellent. Moving on to item 3.2, architecture and site plan review 11-2024, which is the commercial office at 3205 Sierra Street. It's a proposed project as an application for an architectural and site plan review to establish a commercial office located at the address 3205 Sierra Street.
Good evening again. As you mentioned, this is architecture and site plan review 11-2024, located at 3205 Sierra Street. Just a little bit of details on the property itself. This is currently considered a residential property. It's about 6,250 square feet in size. Again, this project falls in the downtown specific plan area. Its designation in the specific plan is mixed use, which is the same as the general plan designation of mixed use. The applicants, Mrs. Anna Merlo, is requesting the Planning Commission approve this request to allow the existing home to be converted to an office. Here's an air photo that shows the general area. La Chiquita Market is just to the right of the site itself. That gives you a little bit of location info. Post office is a little bit further to your right. So the floor plan is pretty much going to stay the same as the existing home. I have on the left-hand side of the screen kind of a larger view of the entire site, and then on the right-hand side is just kind of an enlarged area of the house itself. In terms of exterior modifications, one of the things that they'll need to complete is an ADA ramp to the front door. The house currently has 3 or 4 flights of stairs to get up to the front door landing, so they would need to accommodate ADA access from the public right-of-way to the entrance and or exit of the building. Other than that, it's mainly going to be finishes changes. I think they're proposing some paint colors, but generally itself, there's going to be no modifications to the exterior. Interior wise, I believe they're just making a few modifications to the restroom to again meet ADA or make the restroom ADA compliant. Here's kind of the proposed architecture colors, at least. The colors don't show up the greatest through the exhibits that were provided, but on the right-hand side, it kind of lists the colors and the finish types. I'll just kind of walk through them real quick. So the exterior would just be wood siding. All the window and door trim would be kind of enhanced with this. They would just be using existing shingles, which are asphalt. There would be no changes to those. Same with the doors. They're just looking mainly for, it's a neutral color with like a rose colored trim. Here's the side views, same color scheme proposed. And then here's kind of a floor plan of the layout. So as you walk into the entrance, it would be the reception waiting area. That would lead into 2 office spaces. You also will notice that there is 2 restrooms, one of which would be required to be modified to meet ADA or make it ADA compliant. And then in the rear of the building would be the employee break room and the storage room. Again, when we looked at this in terms of the general plan, we did pull out one of the policies we just wanted to highlight, design 8.3, which states the city will require the use of durable, high-quality building materials to lower maintenance and replacement needs to ensure the aesthetic appeal of new development and rehabilitation. Staff's evaluation found that the proposed improvements to the existing structure will improve the overall aesthetics to the site, will improve the view along Sierra Street, and potentially enhance the surrounding commercial properties. And another policy that we just wanted to highlight was Design 10.1, which states the city will require site and building access for pedestrians by providing the most direct pedestrian access from sidewalks and parking areas to building entrances while minimizing conflicts with motor vehicle traffic. Again, our analysis, in summary, we found the existing sidewalks on Sierra and the proposed ADA compliant ramp will provide this direct access to the site. In terms of CEQA or environmental review, this project is considered categorically exempt from further CEQA or environmental analysis pursuant to CEQA guidelines 15301, which outlines exemptions for existing facilities. The public notice, again, like the previous project, was published in the Riverbank News on Wednesday, May 7th. Public notices were also mailed out on Wednesday, May 5th. The picture on the right is just a picture of the posting at the property itself. And then lastly, just our recommendation is that the Planning Commission adopt Resolution 2025-005, approving architecture and site plan review 11-2024, which would allow the conversion of existing structure to an office use based on the required findings. That concludes my staff report and presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Question. Do you know what type of business will be in this unit and how many employees will be there?
Sure. I do not believe the applicant's here tonight, but in discussions with her, she mentioned it would be a real estate office, and it would most likely be herself and her husband as the primary occupants of the office.
I have a question too. I didn't see anything as far as signage for, naming what the business is on the face of the building or a separate signage monument out front. Is there anything allowable for that, or is that going to have to come under review separately?
So yeah, that would be a separate review. Right now, the applicant is currently debating, the type of sign that's appropriate for a business. Regardless of that, any sign in the downtown specific plan area would have to comply with the guidelines or the sign program in the specific plan. So that would be a separate review by our department when they decide to submit something.
Okay, no other questions. Let's open it up for public comment. We did receive one written public comment regarding this matter, which has been distributed to all the commissioners. Okay, seeing no public comments, we'll close public comment and we'll take roll call approving Resolution 2025-005, approving the site plan review 11-2024.
I'll move to approve the item as stated.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we did.
Yes, let's reopen public comment for Zoom. Well, we'll close public comment for that. We have a motion. Do we get a second?
Second,
Okay, roll call.
Chair Zamora?
Yes.
Vice Chair Alterman,
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart,
Yes.
Commissioner Basso,
Yes.
and Commissioner Dynan.
yes.
Approved 5-0.
Excellent. Moving on, Planning Commission comments. Any planning commissioners have any comments? No? Okay. Any county referrals or any correspondence?
You have none.
All right. Any staff comments?
I do have a few comments.
Okay.
First of all, just wanted to mention at our June meeting, we're going to be having 3 items. Just wanted to kind of summarize those real quick. One of those items is a project called Sierra Village. This is a 27-lot tiny home subdivision located on Sierra and Claus. This is a market rate project. It's not an affordable project. So it's a little bit different than the other tiny home projects that this commission's seen in the past. The second project is El Gusto Italian Restaurant. So I'm not sure if anyone's noticed, but they've recently purchased I think it was a former cell phone store business, a couple doors down from them. And they're going to be requesting a conversion from a cell phone store to a banquet room. They would still utilize their existing restaurant and just use that for overflow seating or special events. And then the third project is Meadowview subdivision. This is a 31-lot subdivision on California and Snedeker. So should be a pretty busy meeting next month. And then lastly, just 2 other things I wanted to mention. In case the commission's interested, on Tuesday, May 27th, We'll be providing an update to the housing element. Just a status update as we wrap up kind of our first round of comments, addressing the comments from the state, and then eventually resubmitting this back to HCD. And then finally, wanted to mention July 9th, we'll be holding a joint City Council Planning Commission workshop. This is an informational workshop on the Riverwalk project. So make sure you place that on your calendars. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Looks like those are all the items on our agenda. Meeting adjourned.
You brought up that.